So before we get started today, I just wanted to show you a new deck box that Sleeve Chief just put up on their website. I think it looks amazing. I think the design is really insane. It has enough space for your cards together with the dice tray and all of that. And in case you want to purchase it or anything else from the Sleeve Chief website, you can always use my affiliate link in the description box below, and you also can use the code SHADOW for 5% off, so you get a discount as well in case you're in need of anything new when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh accessories. Hey guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 decks that I feel like are underdogs in this meta. Decks that are sort of flying under the radar, and some of them are even rogue decks, but are still like good contenders, at least in my eyes. And I wanted to mention all of these decks so you can maybe pick them up if you want, because they're not exactly regular choices in this meta right now. And yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and we're gonna talk about Rika. So Rika is basically one of those decks that sort of fell off as soon as tier entered the meta, and then when the ban list came that hit tier and completely like annihilated them, we all sort of turned to decks like Sword Soul, which also fell off, and Rika is still like almost unnoticed, but it is a really nice deck, I think. Like basically it puts up a ton of different interruptions and different types of stuff to deal with the opponent's board when they go on their turn. You have the Feud spell, which is literally a really busted card. You have the trap card, there's Princes in the graveyard, and you go from Strana to the tree Xyz Hyperion, and basically you achieve all of these things with a small amount of cards. So you still, you know, you have your engine, but you have a bunch of space to play tech cards and be able to adapt to the meta that way as well. So I think it's a nice deck. It rewards good gameplay, and it can also utilize cards like Rivalry, which is a decent floodgate. And overall, not a lot of people are that familiar with the deck because it was here, you know, last year. And then with tier, like I said, it just almost completely vanished for that period of time. So right now people are picking it up again, and I think it's a really interesting choice. Plunder is also one of those rogue contenders that can really do well if a good pilot plays it. I think it's utilizing the adventure engine, which is still like one of the best engines in the game to this day. It was never hit, just sort of underutilized because not a lot of strategies can really play it, but Plunder goes very well together with it. And with a lot of decks being present in the meta right now, you're also able to, you know, utilize their attributes to your advantage with Plunder. Although the attribute issue was sort of almost completely removed and just solved with the support ship, the Jord, I think, which gives you the token, so you can use it for your plays, which is really nice. It has enough space to play the tech cards as well, like the Rika deck we mentioned. And overall, with the help of those cards and with you sort of relying on your opponent and their attributes, it also doesn't have such a hard time going second. And with the help of the adventure stuff, you're also able to go second with, you know, Draco back. So you have enough cards to go second and to build boards going first. So like, I think it's a very nice choice. It doesn't seem like the easiest deck to play because overall rogue decks are a bit tougher to play sometimes because you need to deal with the meta with sort of a smaller power of the deck. That's why it's not meta, because it's not as great in power and all of that. So you need to mitigate that by playing it well enough. And the next deck is also very interesting. It's Runic for Hire. So it started to pop up here and there. The for hire side of things was here for quite some time, but the deck received support in Darkwing Blast with Rix and with Donner. So Rix is able to give you a body, it's able to give you their spell or trap cards or follow-up, and the Donner is a form of removal. So with those cards, and then with the addition of the Runic engine, the deck really started to form. You're able to draw a ton of cards and draw into your engine, put up your disruptions, because it actually goes together with the Folgo if you end on it, so you draw additional cards. And very similarly to Runic Naturia, you're able to, you know, sort of draw into your stuff, your runic things, your hand traps, your engine part, and then you're able to just control the game and sort of out-resource your opponent. So I think it's nice. I think it's interesting. It does feel rogue, but still, you can try it out if you want. And for the next deck, I wanted to mention Sprite Melfi. With the Melfi package, Sprite started to see more and more play. So you have the engine of Penny, Caddy, the Synchro, and the XYZ. So you're able to put up Caddy, and then you're able to go into either a bounce if you want, if you go for the Synchro, or you're able to put up Herald of Arclight to make monsters get banished finished if they are sent to the graveyard from hand or main deck, and it's also a form of a negate. So you have this package, you're also playing the Soul Scissors, which is an additional body, which is not that hard to get to, a level 2 of course, and a pop. And then you have the Gamma package to just have additional extenders. You're trying to have level 2s, and right now with people playing a lot of book cards and stuff like that for other decks, your sprite stuff is struggling, of course, because the second they get set, there's no level anymore on the field, so you cannot special summon additional ones. So you want special summons, and with Emergency Teleport and Gamma, that's a really nice package, because also as a going second card, Gamma is going to be able to help you, and it's also able to like bait out or force, in the example of Kashtira, for you to then use Gamma, because Kashtira Rise card is mandatory, so they are going to use it if you go for something that doesn't put a monster on the board. There's a lot of different stuff being put in Sprite right now, which I think is great, because with the loss of Elf, Sprite lost a lot, but it's still a very cool deck, and it would be a shame to just see it fall off because it doesn't have enough engines and power to continue going in this meta. So I think it's like, at least me personally, to me it's really cool to see any development when it comes to the Sprite deck. And as the last one, I wanted to cover Pearly. So this one actually is going to get much better post Cyberstorm Access, which you know, it's at the beginning of May, and it is a little more than a month away, but I still think it's cool to start preparing for it right now, just like some people did with the Kashtira deck before it received like the support that really made it better right now in Photon Hypernova. So you can start testing out Pearly if you want. I'm going to mention a couple things, what the deck does and what it's going to be doing post Cyberstorm Access. There's also stuff coming out in the set, like the Monodome things, and people are going to start preparing for Nationals, so you might want to start looking at the Pearly deck right now if you want to play it. And basically what the deck does is it has a really interesting playstyle, very similar to Sky Striker in the like how the deck is made. Basically you have only 2 monsters post the other set, and then it's just spell cards. There's a trap as well, and then you have the extra deck monsters. You basically go for those extra deck monsters, which aren't links in this example, but you go for Xyz plays with the help of your 2 main deck monsters, which get quick play spell cards from either the hand or the graveyard, to then be able to Xyz into the Xyz counterpart of the quick play spell card, which is really interesting. And then those Xyz, they also have like a boss monster, which is unaffected if it has 5 or more materials. You're able to slap it on the field very easily, and then it gets additional effects off of the materials that are attached to it. It's able to attack a number of times, gains a bunch of attack, and also per its effect, it's able to detach 2 materials and put an opponent's card to the bottom of the deck, as long as you're able to detach 2 materials as a quick effect, and while still keeping a level 1 Pearly under it. You're just able to do it a number of times per turn, which is very strong, and it's also unaffected and very hard to out. So like, the deck is very cool. Like, it's really, really interesting what it does, how it plays, and you know, I think it's going to be a nice contender, especially in May, but I still wanted to mention it right now. So those are going to be the decks for today. If there's anything else that you feel like is very intriguing in this format that people are starting to playtest with, make sure to mention it in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please like it, sub, check out all the social media, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.